Fam, I know. Hey, Friday we don't normally do Red Gold GM, but Shey has a schedule. We want to hear what Shey's got to say, so we said, "Look, Shey, get in here, man. We just gotta have you Friday." And here we are. Shey, what's up?
What's up, Ronbo? How you doing?
Tell you, man, I'm loving it, man. It's Easter weekend. I got you up in here. Shey, by the way, is a proud member of TNT as well. Shey,
Sir.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You ready for the
TNT,
weekend?
representing for all my guys. Excited, man. Excited this is my first mock GM draft, so I'm excited, man.
I thought that we did this last year. Shey, we did something last year. Was it free agency?
We did, Ronbo. We did the Carolina Panthers game. I talked during the Carolina Panthers game.
That's right.
I did the report because when you have guys that go in, right? You give them like FaceTime to see what's going to happen during the game or whatever.
Right.
The Ronbo report, I think it was called. So
you got it.
I
did.
did.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, Shey, I call Shey a second-year veteran, so scratch that. This is Shey's debut as a red and gold GM. Shey, jump on in there, man. I can't wait to hear this.
No problem, Ronbo. Well, come April 29th, when Roger Goodell walks up to the podium with the third pick, I have 49ers selecting Justin Fields, man. Ohio State. The Ohio State.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure. The Ohio State.
The Ohio State. Listen, I understand, there's a lot of good prospects in this draft, but to me, when you mortgage your future with sending 3 first-round picks to trade up to 3, you don't go for the guy with the safest floor and like a Mac Jones. You go with a guy that has the highest ceiling. And I think, or one of the highest ceilings, and I think it's Trey Lance or Fields. And I just feel like Fields is a little bit more better passer than Lance is right now. And I feel like Fields can unlock Kyle Shanahan's scheme. He has the arm talent. We've seen it, Ronbo. We've seen the deep passes. He can scrabble when he wants to. But I feel like Fields, out of all of them, he looks to throw first, then pass after. And throw first, then run after. And I feel like that's something that I feel Kyle really loves, is even if his play calling and his scheme breaks down, that if you have the quarterback with the legs to go ahead and get the first down or extend the play, then that's fine. But to me, Fields looks to pass. He goes through his progressions and I think he analyzes the field. And I think that's why I feel like it's Justin Fields.
All right. Sound reasoning to me. And
Right.
and 4-4 doesn't hurt his stock any either. that's fast for a QB.
Exactly. So moving on with the 43rd pick, I picked Greg Newsome from Northwestern cornerback.
Right.
The way this mock fell, these guys fell, so that's how I just took it. He might be there, he might not, but I feel like Greg Newsome is a steal. He's a great cornerback. And I don't really have any cons. Just one con that me and Lee, who is another one of the smartest guys I know, especially when it comes to draft pick. I know he did his GM2 earlier. We touched on IMG Academy, Ron, but I don't know if you know what IMG Academy is, but they're one of the most collegiate, not collegiate, but they're high school and middle school, kind of like what a De La Salle is. They recruit kids from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They're like one of the highest high school recruiting academies in the nation right now. And he went to IMG Academy, and the thing that kind of concerned me was he only got 2 offers from Northwestern and Oregon. So it was kind of questioning, like, well, why did he only get 2 offers when he goes to like a high-end school full of talent where the scouts will always be there? And I don't know if it was off the field issues he was having in high school or they thought he wouldn't translate to college well, which, he's 6'1". He runs a high 4.3. He ran, I think, a 4.39 on his pro day. He's quick. He shows all the intangibles, and it's somebody you would want to put up against our division rivals, DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
You want to put a guy you could put him on him. And, I'm not saying the rookie's going to shut him down, but I think he will make DK work for every yard that he gets. He plays great in man. He's good in coverage in zone as well. So that's why I felt like Greg Newsome, without a doubt, would be the pick there for cornerback. And not knowing, Jason Verrett's injury history, and just adding more depth pieces that bolster that cornerback. I know we bought K1 back, but Mosley and Verrett, we don't know, so I felt like getting a little bit more depth piece for the 49ers at cornerback is just is a win-win.
I like the size too. By the way, if you have a question, remember, hashtag Q question. Or Q, hashtag, wherever you want to put the hashtag question, it will relay it right to Shey.
Yes,
I like
sir.
that. I like to about a big guy in that secondary because, like you're saying, big and fast. Because we got some big dudes in NFC West that need to be
Absolutely.
dealt with. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So with my third pick, Ronbo, with my third pick, this guy is, I would say, I try not to draft the people that I like so we can keep it as realistic as possible. But to me, it just made sense. With third pick, well, not the third pick, but within the round 3, I have 49ers selecting Quincy Roche. And for 117, the comp pick that we got from Saleh, I have 49ers selecting Quincy Roche from Miami. This man, his speed, he has one of the best quick steps. And I feel like he was overshadowed by Jalen Phillips and Gregory Rousseau, who are also on his teammates. And I'm pretty sure when he transferred from Temple last year coming to this season, he didn't think Jalen Phillips was transferring as well. So he probably thought it would be my time to shine for Miami. But because, when Gregory Rousseau decided to opt out, I thought that was his time. But, Jalen Phillips decided to come in, and Jalen Phillips stole the show, man. Jalen Phillips is one of the best products in this draft. And but I feel like Quincy Roche shows a lot of promise. He's very, very fast, Ronbo. I can't emphasize this enough. Fits the D4 mold. He played at 250. He's 6'2", quick, great bend, Ronbo. A lot like Azeez Ojulari, just those fast guys that get around the edge and that will help Armstead and Kinlaw get sacks by bending the edge, forcing the quarterback to step up in the pocket in the wide 9, right? And letting Kinlaw and Armstead finish the play.
Sounds like a plan.
I feel like defense wins championships, Ronbo, and I will always use this example every time. 2018, 49ers had one of the worst passing defenses in the league. Only had 1 turnover, and that was caused by Dante Exum when he picked off Phillip Rivers. Fast forward to 2019, only brought back the same roster. They brought back the same defensive back roster. Only thing changed, they picked up Bosa, they got D Ford, and we seen what happened. Went to the Super Bowl, right? So to me, edge rush, absolutely. Edge rush wins championships, Ronbo. And I feel like when you can get after the passer, your team's in good hands. So
disrupts everything. It can
sir.
ruin a game. Edge rushers can take over a game in a heartbeat. We've already seen that happen too many times. So yeah.
I think I said 117 pick. I meant 102 pick. Sorry, 102 pick for Quincy Roche. And then for the 117 pick, I have the 49ers selecting Quinn Meinerz from Whitewater, center. I was watching his senior bowl games, Ronbo. This kid is nasty, Ronbo. This kid is violent. He takes one-on-ones. He just loves contact, Ronbo, in the trenches, man. Just when you look at him, you just see a bulldog, like just someone who's just an aggressor at all times. He had a phenomenal showing in the Senior Bowl, Ronbo. Won majority of his one-on-ones with top collegiate defensive ends, right? And I think Senior Bowl had a lot more emphasis due to COVID and everything like that, without everybody having, going to the combine and stuff like that. The Senior Bowl having all that talent around him and then him showing out, just to me was just a big plus on my end. I mean, big plus on his end that I said, you know what? I feel like this kid is smart enough to get drafted, learn from Alex Mack, right? And the big thing I love about Alex Mack signing too is he's going to take a lot of that pressure off of the quarterbacks when when the teams are dialing up blitzes. He will help with pass protection against the blitzes, which Alex Mack is renowned for. And we know that Richburg could have done it, and Richburg did do it, but because he couldn't stay healthy, man,
Yeah.
Alex Mack had to come in. And I feel like that's one of the big upsides. I feel like we won't see Jimmy under duress a lot this season when facing the blitzes, because Alex Mack will set the line, make sure everybody knows who to block, where to block, and protect. And I feel like, like we always talk about Kyle's scheme being so schematically hard to understand. There's a lot of nuances in his playBooks, and I feel like that's the same way for one of the most important positions in his scheme is center. I feel like, and that's why I feel like this kid Quentin Mernez, I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, is a bully type of center, but I feel like he's very intelligent, and I feel like he can take over after Alex Smith is done, and we can have a fill-in center right away immediately, which is again one of the most important positions on Kyle Shanahan's offense.
What school is he coming out of?
Whitewater. I think it's Whitewater. I don't want to say Wisconsin.
Yeah. Shey, you seem to think he's kind of a cerebral type kid. What makes you think that? Yeah. How come?
Just watching this film, man. I mean, you can see he does the left hand on ball, pointing out, Mike linebackers.
Seems to know
it's okay. Right. When you see his games, you see him commanding his offensive line to help protection for the quarterback. And to me, that just stands out and says, a type of Alex Mack type player. Now, I'm not calling him Alex Mack, but I'm saying, like, someone who knows what they're looking at and helping his quarterback, just allowing his quarterback to just read the defense and then allowing him to read the blitz that's coming, whether it's the Sam, Will, Mike, whoever. And I feel like Quentin Mernez is more than capable of doing that. He's I think he's one of the most intelligent centers in this draft.
And by the way, he means Alex Mack. You're getting called. You know how folks in the chat do. You said Alex Smith, apparently.
I'm sorry. Alex Mack. I'm Alex Mack. Sorry.
They know who you're talking about. All right. Continue.
All right. So with the 155th pick, again, the way the mock panned out, I had to take it. Trey Brown, cornerback, Oklahoma. This kid was one of my favorite cornerbacks. Feisty. Again, had a good showing out in the Senior Bowl. Was the only cornerback to have an interception on one-on-ones. So everybody, he just looked like he was just out there, fighting for every down. Very physical. Very physical. He likes to jam you at the line of scrimmage. He has great break, great technique on the ball. And just an all-around, I feel like an all-around good cornerback. And I think, again, adding more depth to, what we have already with Verrett and Mosley. But again, Verrett is signed for another year, and K1 signed for another year. Hopefully after this year, we could probably extend him. But if you draft some good replacements that show promise, Ronbo, I don't think the 49ers would have to worry about it. Trey Brown could play inside, outside, doesn't matter. I mean, he has a couple good sacks, like K1 against Texas. K1's a very good blitzing cornerback. He's shown that he can blitz, rush the passer. So I just felt Trey Brown is just an immediately good scheme fit. Very intelligent, high IQ kind of guy. His play recognition is really well. He takes gambles sometimes, but they're the right kind of gambles. When he knows, whatever the route is, he'll guess it correctly, if you want to say. But I just feel like he's just another good, talented cornerback from Oklahoma.
I like it. Because Jamar Taylor, I wonder, am I right? It's Jamar Taylor. Was that the kid who went down last year with the ACL? We got from the Seahawks.
Jamar Taylor.
You just wonder, is he coming back this year? Because I'm worried about the depth of that position already. So this is a good idea.
I think from what everybody was saying, I believe he is coming back this year. Because, again, remember, everybody was throwing out, like, if we weren't able to sign K'Waun Williams, then they would just be fine with throwing Jamar Taylor out there. So I was hearing his name out there. Like, it seems like he's recovering pretty well. So I'm pretty sure, yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, 49ers have bad history with the ACL problems. A lot of guys, Blair and Taylor, a lot of guys had regressions in their rehab. And
last year was a disaster, both of them, right? And then and then high ankle sprains, bit us
Yeah,
and would not let go. And, I don't want to be in that stadium no more. Hey,
absolutely.
let me yell out Rebel D. Shout out to Shey, another Hall of Fame caller.
Oh
Rebel
man,
D, thanks for the contribution.
thank appreciate you, Rebel D.
Mad love.
All love, man. Um, so yeah, Rumble, and then with the 172nd pick in the NFL draft, I got 49ers taking Brendan Jamies, tackle, Nebraska. This kid, Rumble, man, I don't know if a lot of people watch film, but I've watched so much film on this guy. I just was watching him in the Senior Bowl. That's where I first saw him, and this man is just he's just really good, Rombo, in a way. Like he dominated his one on. He didn't dominate, but he won his one-on-ones, and he shows like this just a good tall, lengthy tackle, right? He kind of gives off I want to say like a Daniel Brunskill vibe. If you actually compare him and Brunskill's body type, they're very similar in a lot of ways. And I just felt like, damn, this would be a great swing tackle. Or if Mike McGlinchey just keeps getting blown up every play, Rombo.
Hey, Shey,
By
can you imagine though that Kyle just calls him over to the side and says, "Let's sit down here and relax a minute and talk." I always wonder because I don't think Kyle's the kind of coach that's going to actually embarrass his ball player out there like that, unless he just really is screwing up.
yeah,
But sometimes there's some people have said if we got a guy like if we would have picked up earlier, we were talking about the kid from the Pac-12 that's supposed to be the top off tackle in the league or in college football.
Oh,
You bring him in.
Walker Little, Stanford.
No,
I think that's what you're talking
this
about.
kid's from Oregon, I think.
Oh no, Panay Sewell. Yeah, Panay Sewell.
No, next.
Panay.
Anyway, the one with the short arms that plays tackle.
Oh, you're talking.
I know,
Man,
I
from
couldn't
Northwestern.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you
Yeah.
bring him in because he's a great pass protector, and then Mike McGlinchey,
Later.
who's second to none when it comes on a run, you go ahead and put him back and reinsert him, but that would signal what you're doing. To the defense, though.
Rayshawn Slater is who you're talking about, Rombo.
Yeah,
that's the guy. Right? Yeah, Rombo. Yeah, well, he has really good length. Again, I don't think a lot of people watch Nebraska, but when I was putting on film, I mean, he held his blocks well. He was just a good run blocker as he is a good pass blocker, and I think that's something that Kyle looks. And we talk about it a lot that everybody on this O-line is a better run blocker than they are pass blocker. And I think Kyle likes those guys who are if they're good at run blocking, and there's not a complete drop off in your pass blocking like McGlinchey, and he is, like I said, he's one of the best run blocking tackles, but he suffers in pass protection. But this kid he's a good run blocker, but he's also a good pass blocker, and I feel like that's something that will translate well into the league. And again, he had a good showing out in the Senior Bowl, and to me, it's just like if you look this kid up, Ron, but you'll be like, yeah, man, he does kind of have like that Brunskill type of mold. So.
Okay. Sounds good to me because
that's why I
it's
felt
a combination. It's hard to find.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then with the 180th pick, I chose this guy's actually again one of my favorite dudes, Dwayne Eskridge. Man, this guy has Kyle scheme written all over him. Great run after the catch. Again, he's gonna go unlooked because he from a Division II school from Western Michigan. But man, this kid is explosive. He has speed, Rombo. When I tell you he has speed, you could tell he's running like in-game speed is around a 4.4, 4.3, 4.3-ish. This kid is explosive. Good yards after catch. He's shifty. He likes to catch the little dink and dunks in the backfield and make the plays. I think he's a better route runner than people give him credit for. And to me, he's a physical specimen, Rombo. I think whoever the quarterback is, even if it's Jimmy next year, he'll help Jimmy out tremendously. And I have no doubt that Jimmy will build a good rapport with this guy. They'll have good chemistry right off the bat. To me, he's just talented. If you wanted to pair him, I'm not saying he's Debo or Ayuk. I would say he's more of like a Richie James, but he's a little bit bigger than Richie. He likes to run into contact. He'll run after the catch. He'll blow people up. But then Rombo, if you catch this man in stride on the slant, that man is gone, Rombo. And when I mean gone, I mean
all right.
Oh yeah. Oh, breakaway. So Dwayne Eskridge, Western Michigan. Again, another Kyle Gadget guy. And Rombo, one thing the 49ers are lacking, kick return and punt returner. I know Richie James is doing it, and they've been experimenting with him. Well, Trent Taylor, and then they also had the other kid that they signed. I forgot his name, the wide receiver that they signed in the offseason, Ronbo. That pretty much took Trent Taylor's spot. I forgot his name.
Oh, how many? The guy from the Chargers? No, he's not a kid. He's a vet. Yeah, how do I
Not
know?
Kelvin Benjamin. It's the other guy. It's the other guy. Oh man, I'm forgetting his name.
It's drawing a blank. But you know what? We do.
He was
We
on the
do not.
Bengals. He has like an iconic video of his girlfriend throwing. His girlfriend helped him work him out for his wide receiver. I forgot his name, man. We just signed
Chad,
him
who
too.
is this? I don't recollect this at all. You know what though? We don't have Richie James. No, has anybody heard about Richie being re-signed? I don't think he's coming back.
Okay, he's not, okay. Then if he's not coming back, this is perfect too for Dwayne Eskridge. He's a good punt returner and kick returner, Rombo. That's my point. But I forgot the guy that they signed that he was doing a little bit.
River Crackraft?
Yeah, River Craycraft. There you go.
Craycraft,
Thank you. Shout out to whoever got
Tony.
that,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, River Craycraft. There you go. River Craycraft. They were experimenting with him at punt return, Richie James a bunch, but I feel like as soon as he steps on the field day one, they'll know how electric this kid is. Immediately, they can designate him to the kick returning and the punt returning. So I feel like that's immediately why he's an overall good pick too. So there you go, Rombo, Dwayne Eskridge. And then with the 194th pick in the draft, I got 49ers selecting another wide receiver back-to-back, Rombo, and Trayvon Grimes. This wide receiver class is very deep, so I feel like a lot of these names will fall. And again, Trayvon Grimes, it's the same thing what I said with Quincy Roche for, they both played in Florida, but one played for Miami, the other played for Florida Gators. Just overshadowed by the talent. I mean, you had Kyle Pitts, you had Kayvon Tooney. You had so much talent that this guy got overlooked. But Rombo, when they played Bama, he was the only guy to moss Patrick Surtain not once but twice for touchdowns. It is 6'4". He might not show film that he has explosive speed, but he's fast, Rombo, when he gets in and out of his ranks, gets in and out of his routes. But the man is just a one-on-one threat, Rombo. And like I said, we don't know what Jalen Hurd is going to be coming back, rehabbing. Whatnot, we don't know, but he fits the Jalen Hurts 6'4", Rombo. Big body. He's about 205 pounds, Rombo. Mm-hmm. This man is a go get up and go get it kind of guy, Rombo.
6'4", 205. Though we got to pack a little more size on him. Hey, but Shey, why did you select him after your previous pick, though? He sounds like he's got more attributes.
Because I feel like Dwayne Eskridge is just the speed, Rombo. You look at the speed,
yeah, you're right.
And you just like, damn.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. You're just like, you know what I mean? You're just looking at the speed and you're just like, and he can run after catch great. I'm not saying this Trayvon Grimes can't run after catch. He can, but he's a vertical threat, Rombo. He's a guy you go, you have him on a go route, you get the one-on-one, you loft it up. And the same thing, when he gets down into the end zone or the red zone, I mean, another guy, you could throw it up. And again, I feel like we don't know what's going on with Jalen Hurd. So I feel like Trayvon Grimes is just another weapon, and that short to intermediate areas where you need a first down or you need a touchdown. Bam! I mean, you just lost it up to him, and he's gonna do what he does, man. He's gonna go up and get it, Rombo.
You gotta love it, and we do need that
absolutely
because George Kittle's never really been seriously implemented in that role, not consistently.
Right.
What George does is a little bit of everything, but they don't have any specific job for him, like end zone guy that goes up high for the ball and beats everybody at the peak of the leap. So and Jalen Hurd was supposed to have that job, Shey. You're right. So we need somebody.
Absolutely.
And Jawan last year, he had a hamstring that never would heal. We didn't even get to see him when we didn't have any receivers. So, I got to find this guy.
Well, I'm hoping Jawan comes around too. I feel like he's talented too, but I just feel like Grimes, when you look at him, Rombo, I mean, you could just go to the Florida game. I mean, the Florida and Bama game. I mean, he mossed Patrick Surtain not once but twice that game.
That's saying something.
It was not even good throws by Kyle Trask. He was lobs. Just give me that, man. And he took it to. So, Rombo. But in the last pick, round 7, 230. With pick 230, I have the 49ers selecting O'Brien Goodson, defensive tackle, Memphis. And I felt like this defensive tackle for depth is somewhat needed because, the reports came out about Kevin Givens. We don't know what's going to happen with Kevin Givens. We don't know the allegation. And
Jesus.
it was
And
because
no more
Rob, I remember
details.
you were like one of the first ones that were high on this kid in 2019 when he was coming out, and you were like, I have faith. After D Jones came out, they called him up. Him and I forgot the street,
Contagious.
Contavious Street. Yeah, they called him up, both of them up, and you were high on him. You're like, hey man, this kid. And I remember he played running back in high school, but he just couldn't stop eating. Man, the guy just couldn't stop getting bigger, and they moved him to D tackle. And
Yeah.
he's fluid, man. He's fast, explosive, got good hips. You can pass rush, can run stuff. But again, we just don't know what's going to happen with him and the allegations that have been brought upon him. So I took O'Brien Goodson, defensive tackle. He's a great run defender, Rumbo. He's averaged eight or nine tackles for loss for Memphis. And what I liked about him is immediately he's one of he's 6'1", 290, but he gets so low, Rumbo. He gets so low
That's
and
Givens
blows.
like. Yes.
Yeah, he gets so low, Rumble. Gets right in there and he blows up plays. He just in the backfield. He takes the one-on-ones and he does these little swipe move downs, or he'll get so low where they, he'll like swipe move and then get down and he's already in the backfield trying to make a play. And what I liked about him is his pass rushing has slowly been increasing. His junior year he registered 0 sacks, but last year, his senior year, he registered 3 sacks. So I can feel like he's slowly developing these pass rush techniques and moves as he's, as his career is furthering along. And I feel like with Bosa, these guys at Chris Kucerik, who can help develop pass rush moves, because he already has the run defending talent. It's just the pass rushing that, a lot of people look for. And I feel like with a depth piece, a rotational, or if he's just on the practice squad developing, I think in, 2 to 3 years, he could probably be somebody, in due time with development, obviously. But so that's why I felt like we had to take another D tackle, just for the cautious of we don't know what's going on with Chris Givens and stuff like that. So
Givens is, and the thing is, it's such an insane thing. I could see the guy bringing up charges against Givens. Got mad at the guy for making a comment. You don't beat people up for making comments. That was the only bit of news that I saw on him. But yeah, we got a lot of big guys in the middle. I wonder, it's a quality lot too. Adding another one in there for the competition is a good idea, because when you get past DJ Jones, is Givens coming back? We don't know. They got a couple other large guys. We got a lot of guys that seemingly. We got a couple of guys on the edge last year, and I don't know how many guys they're going to bring back. What's his name? The speed guy that's been all over the league. He actually looked decent last
Samson?
year. Who?
You talking about Samson, or who you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the guy. We had a guy coming off the edge. We had 2 guys we picked up at preseason to come off the edge. I called them. They were going to be the NASCAR. I mean, we had 3 speed guys. I forget which one. One guy came from the Raiders last year. He also played with the Hawks, and then we picked him up last year. I think he'd had not a bad year last year for a guy that was considered a bust. He was a first-round pick years ago. So
I'm trying to think.
we're gonna see. It's okay, because I'm just wondering how many guys are we gonna get in the middle though? Because I like that with Ronnie gone. We already lost. Hyder wasn't an inside guy, but they say he could have played inside.
No, but I mean, Blair, Julian Taylor, those guys were scratched from last year, even, right? So you could throw those guys already out.
Yeah, Julian Taylor. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah,
he had lots of promise.
He did, and now we got Chris Givens out. So I'm trying to look at the depth pieces and see who they picked up, any little signings that they done for vet minimums. But all I can think of right now on the roster for as far as D tackle spot, I mean, it depends whether you want to implement Armstead as a D tackle, because he's kind of like the in-betweener. I know on first and second downs he'll play edge a little bit, and then he'll move inside on passing downs to play D tackle. But I mean, right now it's just Kinlaw and DJ Jones, right? And then it was Chris Givens, but we, again, like I said, we don't know about that situation. And
Kevin Givens.
Kevin Givens, sorry.
Rich, thanks. Deion Jordan is what I was talking about. Jordan looked actually decent last year for the first time in a long time. So, hey, it's Kucerik. The guy works magic with people. I don't know what he does to a ball player, especially a veteran ball player, that you can actually give him pointers at this point in his career to improve his game. So, God, I'm glad we didn't lose him.
I mean, you can make fighter debate too, Rombo. I mean, Kerry Hyder had, I think his best of his both years was in Detroit where he had 3 sacks, and that was under
Yeah.
Kusirik. And then just last year with 8 sacks under Kusirik again.
He narrowly missed 10. I mean, he should have had to. Remember that guy he had? The guy just slipped away at the last seconds. Oh, man, look at that. Hyder is on fire every week. So
yeah, he was.
We'll see what he does when he gets to. We're going to see him twice, Shey.
Right.
He will. But you know what though? He's not going to play on the left side. Will Mike McGlinchey be able to contain him like you said? God, man.
I'm hoping, Ronbo. I mean, if we go back to McGlinchey's 2017 year, that was good. 2018 year was. 2019 year, again, we started noticing, but it wasn't as bad. But just 2020, man. Again, he tried to say he lost weight so that he could be more fluid, so he could be able to rotate more. But in the end, it just allows him to get blown up even more. So I think he needs to put that weight back on. And then, again, he's good friends with Joe Staley. Like, I know they're not just drinking beers and hanging out. Like, I'm hoping Joe Staley is teaching them some better pass rushing. Some better pass protecting techniques or something, Ronbo.
Joe's probably calling him after every game. Jesus, Mike, what was that? The guy that took you down couldn't have weighed more than 190.
Right.
Joe, hey, let's check out Shey's selections. Round 1, number 3, Justin Fields from the Ohio State. And in round 2, number 43, Greg Newsome, cornerback out of Northwestern. Round 3, Quincy Roche, edge Miami. We're going to need a guy at the edge, too. I'm telling you right now, because I want some competition on that edge. Get the best guy, too. Round 4, number 117, Quinn Mariners is a center from Whitewater. See, these are the kind of guys that come out of schools like this. Whitewater, right? What's the competition going on out there? But if you see a kid that looks like knows what he's doing at center, it may not matter what level of competition you put against him. He'll still flourish. And then you look at round 5, number 155 is Trey Brown, cornerback, Oklahoma. I always feel if he's coming out of the South, the boy is probably getting ready to kick some butt. Round 5, 172, Brendan. Hey, is that James?
James.
Yeah, could you put an I after an A? I always get confused about that because I was almost.
No, that's his name though. It's James.
Yeah, because I almost wanted to call him Hymus, because
he
uses Spanish. But yeah. So. Anyway, we'll call him Jamius. Anyway, he's a tackle out of Nebraska. And round number 5, and the pick is 180. Dwayne Eskridge, a wide receiver, Western Michigan. And Trey doubles up on the wide receiver to bring more competition to camp. And the fact of the matter is, we do not yet have a designated number 1 receiver. Cops been looking for the elusive number 1 receiver for years. You never know where they're going to come from. It could be round 5. It might even be round 6 because Shey has picked up Trayvon Grimes, wide receiver. He's out of Florida. Anybody that comes out of the SEC or any of the Southern conferences is usually hardened. And round number 7, number 230, Brian Goodson, defensive tackle out of Memphis. Again, Shey, I love how you picked up Southern schools, man. Because remember when Dre used to get mad when we used to be like prejudiced and biased against Northern schools versus Southern schools. Listen,
right.
You know what? The fact of the matter is, they're just playing a better brand of football below the Mason-Dixon line for the most part.
They do, Ron, but I wouldn't argue that point. But again, I always scout the player, not the school. I understand you could talk about level of talent, but I just feel like if he does the things fundamentally well, you could see it on film. And if it translates well on the field, I feel like, the pick is usually safe when you're scouting it like that way. But that's why I like some of these good smaller school guys are, really talented. And if they just get a shot in the league, you never know what kind of, noise they can make. So,
and like you say, he's coming from a smaller school, so he's got more rage within him than the other kids coming out of.
That's it, right, Ronbo? And that dog type of mentality, you know what I mean? That's always been overlooked. You've always, you were never the, people try to, I wouldn't say people question your worth ethic, but they'll try to discredit you because you went to a D2 school or something like that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like that pushes a lot of these guys when they get to the league. I mean, I know for a fact, like Antonio Brown, Western Michigan, ended
There
up
you
being
go.
a great wide receiver, So,
And
I mean, not
arguably
West
one of the best. Yeah.
Central,
So
he came from
I
Central,
like
but yeah, exactly. So,
because
and Joe Staley came from Central Michigan too, actually,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
If you go down through all the small schools, you can find an abundance of talents that just for whatever reason their letter wasn't accepted at Bama, LSU, and
Yeah,
some of the other schools, or even Stanford, Cal Berkeley
yeah,
for that. I mean, it's pretty funny. You're right. They don't get any respect. So when they get down there, they work really hard. They in some cases UDFA's, because you didn't go to one of the premier schools. So that it's unfair. But as I said, it creates a rage within that ball player. If he's got what it takes, he's going to make it. I can't hold him back. So. Let's get some of those questions for Shey. Let's go to the top. Tommy Huxley said, "What about depth for the O line?" I saw that comment. He didn't ask the question, but I was wondering. You kind of addressed that, did you? I thought.
yeah. I touched on it. Like I said, um, Minners, he could play guard and center, and if you want to give him like the best chance to succeed at center, you could put him at right guard this year. But I don't know if he'll beat out Brunskill just because Brunskill, Brunskill's played in the NFL. He knows the talent, and he's done well for us. So I feel like if you want to let him learn immediately behind Mac by Alex Mack, you can put him right next to him so you can see the calls, see the audibles that he's looking at, so they can see the same thing on the field when they're looking at blitzes from other teams. But I feel like, again, he's a good depth piece you could put back there. If someone gets hurt, I think he can fill in at guard or center. Well, not immediately center, because like I said, center is one of the most important positions besides quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Yeah.
Very, very sophisticated. But as far as guard and run schemes, remember, and he fits the run zone scheme that we have here in San Francisco. He fits that run zone scheme, and I feel like him and Brandon Jamies are good depth pieces that could potentially be starters one day. So
Something I like about your draft, you're doing exactly as the 49ers, when they send their scouts out, it's not necessarily your level of talent as much as the talents you do have applied to what we do in San Francisco. That's
exactly.
been pretty much the thing now we're seeing the last few years. Ever since
Absolutely.
Trent Baalke and his misery left, we're seeing players that make more sense on this team. Even when you look at like Richie James and 2 years ago, 4 years ago now, when he was picked up, Richie James was actually ideal for what he did, but he just somehow mentally blanked out, because I still think Richie James is a good football player. So
I do too, Ron. I think he's a hidden talent. Like, if we get him the ball more, I think he can flourish and do a lot better. But you're right, Ronbo. I try to draft schematically for the 49ers and like possible fits. Obviously, you look at talent as one of the key attributes, right? If it's just pure dominant talent like Kyle Pitts, doesn't matter where he goes, he's gonna dominate, right? Because the kid is just great. And other prospects like that. But I feel like, if you can get a guy from a smaller school but has the same intangibles that we've seen from our qualities that look like other players that the 49ers have brought in and that have left or whatever, you can go ahead and make a better assessment or judgment on the players that, like, okay, well, maybe, just because he goes to a D2 school, maybe he can transition at least under the 49ers system. I wouldn't say that for everybody, but at least 49ers, because he's kind of accustomed to what they're kind of running. You know what I mean? Things like that. So
Did we sign Reed, tight end? Did we re-sign him?
I'm not sure if you sign him back. I would love him on a vet minimum, Rumbo. I don't see a problem with that.
The reason I asked that is because you didn't look at any tight ends in your draft this time. I'm really concerned about Reed unless everybody's in on Ross.
Not at all. Once I saw
Ross
Dwelly come back, well, listen, Rumbo, because again, we got Charlie Warner too. So as soon as for the kid from Georgia, so I was like, there's no need. And if they're gonna bring anybody in, it would probably be a veteran that could help relieve some pressure off of Kittle. But as far as tight ends, we're stacked because we have Dwelly, we still have Charlie Warner, and then we have Juszczyk. Obviously, Juszczyk's not a tight end; he's a fullback. But Dwelly, again, that swing piece that can play both. When Juice went out, he stepped in the fullback role and he could play tight end. So I feel like I think we're pretty good at tight end, at least for right now.
Yeah, we're not hurting. Because you know how year before last, it seems that Kyle was hell bent on getting somebody to take a little bit of the pressure off of George Kittle, and so he went out and got Jordan Reed. But we're not hearing a word about Jr. I just
Mm,
realized. Uh,
fortunately,
yeah. Okay.
because
Well,
he
we'll see.
did really well that game before he got injured. The Jets game. I mean, he had like 2 touchdowns, 100 something yards. He
And
showed promise, bro,
and with ease,
with ease. Yeah, Jimmy was
they
doing.
couldn't.
Jimmy built a good rapport with him too. I mean, the chemistry was already there. I mean, it looked like he was throwing a Kittle that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Reed was out there dominating, and it was on good talent too, like Brian Poole. He
Yeah.
was throwing it on Brian Poole, getting good
Mm-hmm.
separation. So,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, if Kyle sees that, Reed can still play, and I feel like he still can, he should take that chance.
Let him look around and like you say, lowball him when he comes back. He can't find a job. Jordan, we still got that bet minimum available for you. Listen, let me put some incentives in there. Let's play ball.
There you
Yeah,
go, bro.
yeah, we'll see what he does. Red Zone Faithful says, are any of the QBs in this draft worth what the Niners gave to move up to the third pick? There's a question that, yeah, well, go ahead. I'd love
That's
to
a
hear what
great.
you got your thought on that.
I mean, in hindsight, you never know. That's a great question. I wish I had a better answer, but I would say that for going for the guy that you feel can take your franchise to the next level for 10 to 15 years, I would say it's worth it. Obviously, you don't want to draft a guy that's not good or, is the B word, the bust word. But I feel like, yeah, I mean, I feel like the 49ers did what they felt they had to do. Kyle knows a guy, has a guy that he likes. And if, whoever the quarterback is, if the Jets end up taking one of the guys he likes, I'm pretty sure he liked the guy that they pick at 3 better. Whatever, even if it's Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, whoever. I feel like all these quarterbacks have good talent. But again, the 49ers thought that the time the time to strike was now, right? Because we don't know the prospects coming out in 2 to 3 years, next year's draft. We don't know. And I felt like they felt that there was enough talent in this draft, at least, that they moved to 3 to pick the guy that they see will be the 49ers starting quarterback for the future. So
Yeah, that's so true. And here's another thing, too. The 49ers did that and Kyle does not want to be leapfrogged. He may have a guy, even if
yeah,
it's Mac Jones. What if, and you never know what people are doing because there are all kind of games being played right around this time of year by the GMs, right? So you don't want to be out of position to make that pick because you've already got your
yeah,
plan done. And this way, no matter what you're doing, even if it's going up to that position that you see one player that you like, whatever position it is, you've got to nail it down that there's no possible chance to
yeah,
lose that pick. So that 49ers
yeah.
went up as high as they could go. And you're right, they did lose a couple of first-round picks, but apparently the 49ers probably know that it's not going to be a big deal because the 49ers don't plan on having to be wiped out by injuries this year because if the 49ers stay on the field, they're going to compete and they're going to be picking around in the 20s and less or lower anyway. So a first round
Yeah,
pick is not probably
yeah,
something that people look at as the number first round pick in the same way.
yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah,
that is a great point, brother. I think that's the best point you can make too, is that they feel like the picks that they gave up are literally early second round picks, if you want to call it that. They
yeah.
think that we are hoping and betting on ourselves that we will be picking in the 30s in the first round, which is, technically a really early second round pick. But yeah, I feel like that's what the 49ers chose to do. And I feel like with Jimmy still being on the roster, I feel like there's no doubt that Jimmy can still pilot this offense and the defense can withhold where we can make a good run next year. So, I mean, I'm all for it.
And Tony Nakatani said, my only issue is he's normal sized DB, and philosophically, I think Niners should only draft 6 foot plus. You did pick out one cornerback that was Trey Brown, huh? What do
Trey Brown is, I think, 5'10", 5'11" ish. But
you,
Greg Newsom's 6'1", or at least that's what he registered on his pro day. He was 6'1". So, um, I feel like he's a tall, lengthy cornerback that you could put a body on him, man. He's very physical. Like I said, he's really good. He ran a 4.3. He ran the 4.3s. So he's fast and he shows great technique and promise. So
Yeah, because as you got hops and things like that, a lot of times cornerbacks
yeah,
like that are really athletically gifted, and they can really give a big man a hard time if they can handle physicality. Because when you look at what last year we watched, and we saw it happen more than once. We saw Jason Verrett give D Hop fits the whole game, and Jay, the first time I seen him do it through the game, I said, "Damn,
yeah,
that was serious, Jay," and he did it again.
yeah.
Wait a minute now. And I said, does Jason own D Hop? Nobody owns D Hop. What? You know.
Now
So,
Verrett dominated D Hop. And I'm hoping like this year he shows that he can stay healthy. And I really am hoping that the 49ers can give him like a 2 to 3 year extension. I think again, Verrett has shown time and time again that he's a Pro Bowl, all pro cornerback when healthy. You know what I mean? Even his rookie year was shutting down Antonio Brown when Antonio was in his prime.
I know.
And and I just feel like, the only problem with him is he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. But I feel like the 49ers, again, last year we took a chance on him. It worked out for us. Again, we're taking another chance on him, and he's trying to prove to us that, like, I am worth that contract extension. I can stay healthy. So if it works out this year, then I'm all for it, man. I feel like running Verrett out there for another 2 or 3 years will be really beneficial for the 49ers.
I love it. And he bet on himself like Sherm did the year before. And bet on himself and says, listen, I'm going to show you. Come back next year. Let's talk about this contract because I realize the situation around the league right now, COVID and everything. Everybody can't get paid. I'll get paid next year.
Right.
But this cornerback, though, that you picked out here, Trey Brown, he's a physical guy?
Yeah, he's physical. Again, you can see him against the top talent. He was the only cornerback to get an interception in one-on-ones, which rarely happens. I know, it's like one-on-ones, but remember, in one-on-ones, the wide receiver has an advantage because the wide receiver has the entire field to work, right? So the cornerback is immediately at a disadvantage. That's why I feel like one-on-ones are a good assessing tool to see, the technique and everything, but it's not like, if he gets beat, he gets beat. You know what I mean? Because in a real-life game, the wide receiver would never have that much room to work with because he'll have a linebackers there, he'll have the safety over the top. You know what I mean? And vice versa. But ones, it's only him and the cornerback's at a huge disadvantage because he could work the entire field. And for him to get an interception, for him to be physical, he doesn't quit on the play. Like Trey Brown, man, I feel like is going to be a good sleeper. Him and DJ Daniels this year are going to be some really good sleeper cornerbacks that may fall. So.
Because I do want to see more ball hawking. We never pulled in enough INTs for me. When you got your linebackers doing the best job as far as INTs, so Fred Warner is a hawk. And you imagine that. Your linebackers a hawk. Fred would pick things out, and you're watching that screen. You can all of a sudden, Fred comes out of nowhere to get into the camera to make that play. Just, damn, Fred was sitting on that. He knew exactly where they was going with it. That is hard to teach. This is something a talent is born with. That's amazing. So.
No, you're right, Rum. Warner is a number one priority right now to resign, though. We need that, man. Highest IQ on the field. Not even close.
Terry Lewis wants to know, in fact, as we talk about linebackers, just wondering your thoughts as to why we didn't draft a linebacker.
I felt I think anybody who drafts a linebacker will be great. I just felt I have some really good linebacker crushes that I had, like Amari Gaynor from Florida State University, Emilio Eifler from Illinois. I feel like those guys fit our kind of scheme. They're, good, quick, fast linebackers that get to get in the backfield. But I just feel like they feel like Al-Shaair is good. I feel like he's good enough to run back out there. And I just feel like the 49ers really are in a lot of nickel packages. When we're playing, I just feel like they're majority, like they're not in base 4-3 a lot, right? I would say they are probably 25% of the time, but majority of them are in nickel packages. And I felt like they're more than happy just running Greenlaw and Warner out there. And I took the risk that, like, I'm praying, but obviously I just don't think that, they've been good with when it comes to the injury bug and stuff like that. And they've been healthy. So I feel like, in that linebacker room, I feel like they have more than enough talent to just, sustain. And if there's some undrafted free agents that they pick up, then so be it. But I just felt it wasn't really a necessity in this draft for a linebacker.
Yeah, and I keep wondering because people are asking that question all the time, thinking we're thin in linebacker. But when you look at last year, uh, after Dre and Fred, the other kid, Alshar, what
Alshire,
did you think
yeah.
about his play? I stopped talking about him because I thought he made a few good plays, but people came and says, "No, man, he's missing his assignments. He's doing this and that." I didn't see that though. Did you? What did you think about his
Yeah,
play?
I don't see that either. I feel like he plays the scheme sound with what Robert Solid wanted him to do. I mean, he was mainly really like he wasn't a middle of the line, middle. Obviously, he's not a middle linebacker, but he wasn't a zone coverage in the middle of the field. He was more of a flat guy. Like he would have to rush to the flats, play the short area field, whatever. If there was a crossing, whether the running back was crossing out of the backfield, he would have to, that was his designation. But I feel like Alshire stepped in and he did his job. He's definitely one of the most aggressive. I feel like he's really twitchy when it comes to like he'll hit somebody and like he likes to jaw a lot, which I feel like you kind of need that energy, man. When
I like it.
and I know him and I don't know if nobody caught it, but when we were playing the Redskins, he didn't have a late hit, but he had a good hit, and I remember Chase Young he was like number 41. He was like cussing at him or whatever, and I'm just like, and he was talking back, and he was like, "Hey man, I don't care if you Chase Young or anybody. I'm not gonna let anybody talk to me like that." And he was barking back, so I kind of like his type of that he brings. But yeah, I haven't really seen like a lot of missed assignments. I just feel like they don't ask him to do a whole lot because they're asking Warner and Dre Greenlaw to do a lot more, and his assignments are designated to like flat areas, running back, watching the running back and stuff like that. So.
And Niner Rich, what do you know about Trey Lance why did he only play one game last year?
Well, the COVID thing, Ronbo, they shut down the Division II thing. They shut it down, and
so that was the reasoning. Okay, he wasn't hurt.
Like I said, I'm high on Lance too. I prefer Fields. I just think Fields has shown that he's a better pocket presence. And if you're looking for the prototypical what Kyle Shanahan wants, he reads the Fields good. And I know we got to get that debate, Rombo. So hopefully we can try to schedule something with the man Tony. We can go ahead and do that. Yeah, I got some facts.
I believe you sound prepared. Tony would definitely be challenged. Both of you guys would be fun.
Yeah.
What was funny though is Trey Lance is somebody already accused him of being injury prone. So that's not true. Then he just missed last year because of the COVID shutdown. So
yeah, by far. I don't think he missed any time.
Who's
Go ahead, Romo.
Who's going to hurt Trey Lance? I mean, we've seen Cam Newton. People, you can get hurt no matter what big size you are. The quarterback's the most vulnerable spot on the field, so you can't get hurt. But that is a moose, and he missed last year. What highlights you see from his music from 2019,
Romo, that is a good point. I remember we used to call Colin Kaepernick like a gazelle. But I mean, Trey Lance is a damn moose, man, because that man is huge, Romo. That is a perfect. Yeah, that man, he can move too. He's big. I would say, I don't want to say because I wouldn't say he was a better passer than Cam. I would say he's slightly shown more touch, and he's very good with decision making because he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He doesn't. I think he was like 29-1 or something like that, or he went 29-0. I don't think he threw an interception. So, I mean, he's not just throwing lofting balls out there. Like he's making accurate decisions, when he's progressing or finding his reads, of the open target. So.
Because at 20 years old, his maturity level seems to be a little ahead of his time from what you watch on his tape. So Trey Lance, and as I said, moving down the field, I love it when he breaks into the secondary and the exterior, and there's that lonely little cornerback. He weighs 190, maybe he's pushing 200 pounds. And I don't think Lance ran away from that guy. When I saw that clip, I was laughing because he ain't changed. And as a kid, the dude got there, Lance just abused him. I said, how many quarterbacks? That looks like, one of our George Kittle running down the field, knocking people out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So,
and listen, I played on defense when I was in high school. I played DN. Yeah. Sometimes, for the little guys, though, the cornerbacks and stuff, sometimes you just got to make business decisions.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But one thing I will say about Trey, though, is for all the quarterbacks, Rombo, is I feel like Fields could, if he goes to another system, I think Fields can do good. Mac Jones can do good. Wilson can do good. The only one I would say is that the person that needs Kyle is Trey Lance, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
he needs the fundamental, tools to, at least in the NFL, so Kyle can show him, like, here, this is what read you're looking. This is what you're looking when we're running like a slant flat combo. You know what I mean? Or like a deep post. If you're looking at the hitch and we're running a farther post in the inside, this is what you're looking at. You know what I mean? So I feel like he would help Lance's game tremendously tremendously more than anybody. But that's the only kind of gripe I have with Trey Lance. But I mean, I like him too. I think he's a good prospect as well.
Also, the more I find out about these quarterbacks, Zach Wilson, they say in 2019 he looked okay. Last
I wouldn't
year,
even say he didn't look good at all, to be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That when I just say okay, I mean just nothing more than average. And in 2020,
Right.
he blew up. But then again, the season was kind of watered down by various factors.
It was, Ronbo.
Yeah.
It was, but so when I look at, prospects and everything and I scout people, I look at, like, you kind of look at it, you got to look at it from both ways, right? So you try to make an argument and then for both sides, and then you build a better assessment. I do feel like, the schedule was really watered down, but then again, that could also be like, we've seen the throws, we've seen the arm talent.
Yeah.
It could be that he's slowly, or not slowly, but he's starting to understand, the quarterback fundamentals. He's starting to read defenses better. You know what I mean? He's starting to, and again, like I wouldn't say BYU had no talent at wide receiver, man. I'm Polynesian. They had a guy, Tokuhuku or something. I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, this guy's getting no separation. I mean, it's just like every time he threw it to only where the wide receiver would get it and the cornerback tried to make a play, but he couldn't. And it was just like, those were some really good throws by Zach. So like you said, I feel like it's both ways. I feel like it could be the variant that, like, the season was cut. A lot of the teams they played were not good, but also too that he could actually slowly start to be able to, show the quarterback fundamentals of reading, and arm talent. You already seen it. He has it, right? But I mean, the ball placement, to me, ball placement's more important than accuracy, because if you have a better ball placement throw than anybody just being accurate, that means the wide receiver is only able to make the play and not the cornerback. And those are like, that's Aaron Rodgers type, level. Yeah. I'm not saying he has Aaron Rodgers' ability. I'm just saying ball placement.
Weird angles and stuff like that, and getting that ball to where it's going to go.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Shey, the way that Justin is being talked about now, most people think that Justin Fields is actually better than Trey Lawrence. They're not most, but I mean, some analysts are saying that. Can you imagine where the Jets are eating all this up? They're not saying a damn thing to anybody ever about anything lately, right? So instead of picking up Zach, they go ahead and they pick up Justin.
They very well could, Ronbo.
And do you then go ahead? Do you now pick up Zach?
Yeah, I would.
Mac Jones is now out for the 49ers, you think?
I feel like, again, like when we debate about it, I'll talk more and elaborate more. I just feel like I just feel like I don't even think Mac Jones has potential to be better than Jimmy, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, okay, if he's better than Jimmy, he's not better than Jimmy by a landslide. No, he's not. If Jimmy stopped at level 3, then Mac Jones is level 4. It's not like he's level 10, but Fields and Lance have the potential to be like level 10 skyriser top tier guys, because the ability not only to be good passers in the pocket, but to extend plays. You know what I mean? Like we've seen Russell Wilson do it for years. He makes that team better, with lackluster talent around him and a bad O-line. We've seen it for years, Ronbo. He's been a pain in 49er fans forever. And that's why I'm hoping they trade him soon. And I'm glad he wants out. Seattle hasn't done anything.
Yeah, but Shey, I gotta tell you though about Russell Wilson though, but they designed that offense. I don't know what they do in practice, but all of a sudden they stop structured football and start playing backyard football whenever Wilson leaves that pocket. It's like they've got that down to a science.
Let Russ cook. Yeah.
Russell Cook, exactly.
Right. Let Russ cook. Yeah. He wasn't cooking this year. I'll tell you that much. But you're right, Ronbo. And I think they relied so much on him to play that backyard style, extend the play and stuff like that. And I feel like, he needs a better, and that just comes with, them not having, them having who's the head coach?
Pete Carroll?
Oh my gosh. Pete Carroll. That's him having Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's always been a defensive-minded coach. You know what I mean? And he forever will be. And I just don't think they had lackluster offensive coordinators there and stuff like that. And if they do build a structure around him of an actual offense, I think he will do a lot better than he has last season and stuff like that. But again, it all goes down to, like, I just don't think Mac Jones is going to propel us to the astronomical numbers of what Fields and Lance does. Again, and they made the same argument for Mitchell Trubisky. Oh, safe floor, safe. Well, look at that. They passed on Watson and Mahomes, and now look at them. That GM and that head coach was fired because of it. So, again, it just, to me, you don't move up to 3 to grab the guy with the safest floor. You get the highest ceiling possible, and it's up to Kyle to develop his guy. So,
True.
That's why I just feel like to me, it doesn't mean Mac Jones and all these rumors about, oh, it's Mac Jones. And I just feel like, well, that's good. That's good. All you want to hear is that the 49ers are drafting Mac Jones because they always go against the grain. They do the exact opposite every time. And there has never been any leaks in that organization. So,
yeah, that's it. Ken Martin chimes in by saying, and Ken, thanks for that contribution. Jimmy Healthy won 75% of his games, brought the team within one throw of a Super Bowl. Mac is a better version in every aspect, ready to play day one. Your thoughts on that?
Mac Jones, I would say, is a little bit better decision maker. But again, if you gave up 3 first-round picks for a guy that's a little bit better than Jimmy, like, to me, it just, again, it doesn't make any sense, like, as to why you would get the guy with the safest floor, or, you know what I mean? And even if let's say Mac Jones is Matt Ryan, right? I'm trying to save these argument pieces for Tony, but
all right,
I'll just say this.
Okay. You don't give everything away. All right, go ahead.
I'll just say this really quick. If Mac Jones is Matt Ryan, right? Let's say he ends up being like a Matt Ryan-esque type of quarterback, and you have Trey Lance or Justin Fields end up being Cam Newton. Well, they both accomplished the same things. Cam Newton is an MVP, and they both went to the Super Bowl and lost. The difference is Cam Newton made Devin Funchess, old man Greg Olsen, look a lot better in that MVP season he had, while throwing to Kelvin Benjamin also and having Jonathan Stewart as his running back. But guess who Matt Ryan has had? He's had a great supporting cast. He had Devontae Freeman, and they did good with drafting Calvin Ridley, but they've had Julio Jones, who arguably is the most dominant wide receiver since Megatron retired. So, I mean, if you look at the totality of everything, like, Cam Newton and Matt Ryan have accomplished the same thing, but Cam Newton has done a lot more with less. And yes, he's slowly starting to, the hits are starting to take a toll on him, but that's why I don't think that Kyle will make these guys run and that's why I feel like Fields, to me, is a perfect fit. He's a passer before a runner. And to me, that's what Deshaun Watson was coming out of. And everybody thought, oh, well, he's a mobile. No, he wasn't, man. This man will carve you up in that pocket. And that's what I feel like Justin Fields will do, can carve you up in that pocket. So to me, it's just.
And that's what Kyle wants. As you said, he's got to have pocket skills, but if he can escape that pocket and still make plays, all plus. Yeah. And people are saying that Kyle is regimented and sticking. His father, the Shanahans, have a dogma they're never going to leave. It's really hard to say or see or visualize because it's so Shanahan, Mac Jones is so Shanahan, but you figure, like you're saying too.
But Ronbo, that's a complete lie. Like, how they think that. First of all, Mike Shanahan is the one who helped Steve Young come to the Bay Area, and Steve Young is Mac Jones. No, he's not. Steve Young is a great thrower, and he could evade out of the pocket too. And then same thing with John Elway. John Elway can scoot, but the talent of arm, Mac Jones doesn't have neither. He has neither. Yeah. He doesn't have an arm. He doesn't have any of the arm talent out of any of the prospects. I mean, would you say that, Ronbo? I would say
Zach. What I've seen of Mac Jones, I've seen highlights of Mac Jones.
You're like, it's just like looking at Kirk Cousins, and look at Kirk Cousins. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, Jones is. I don't know if he's being overrated or not, because I don't watch enough college football. But I do know that some of the golden boys that come out of college, they look like they're absolute studs. And then they come into the pros, and all of a sudden they play against grown men, and reality sets in. So this is why it's going to be interesting to see how these guys adapt, any one of them coming in the NFL. Because you look at, for example, as you mentioned, over in Texas, Clemson quarterback that's in trouble, the guy that enjoys massages. We
Oh,
just
Watson.
talked about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Watson.
Huh?
Watson came in the league first year. He looked
Massage.
solid. Yeah. But
Yeah.
then you look at over across the way in Kansas City. Then Mahomes is being groomed, so you don't know what he's about just yet, right? And then
Right.
you look at Lamar Jackson, who came in but wasn't necessarily a quarterback. He was a gimmick guy that would throw the ball on occasion. But when he did throw the ball, it wasn't pretty. So you never know about a quarterback and what he's going to do, how his game's going to apply and translate
Right.
into the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see because my ratio, and I'm probably short on this, only 1 in 10 of the guys that are coming in are probably going to be a success in the NFL as far as quarterbacks go, right? And the rest are going to
Yeah.
be okay. Some are going to be average.
Yeah.
Some are going to be backups. But it's tough. And that year with all the guys that came out with Mahomes, that was an incredible year, actually.
I was. There was a lot of talent. But again, like I said, the Bears said they took Mitch because the safest floor. Well, we know how that turned out. And even
Badly.
bust too. But again, like the third pick, like the 10th, 12th, you know what I mean? And these guys end up being transcending talents. And I just feel like you go after the guy with the highest ceiling, Rombo. In all honesty, that's why I just feel like it's hard for me to think that the Niners, you know, gave up a lot of the future. And listen, if Mac Jones is Kyle's guy, then so be it. Then that's his guy. I mean, I have faith more than anything in any process that we do, whether it's drafting or signing free agents, is in Kyle Shanahan. And if he
There you
makes
go.
it work and we get to Super Bowl, then I think we're all okay with that. But to me,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to fathom that. Like, if Fields can do that plus more, I don't see why you wouldn't take the higher ceiling guy. But I mean, it
I,
teaches on. Like,
and I actually do think it's going to be Fields just because it's too much. Everybody's saying Mac Jones, Mac Jones, Mac
that's what
Jones.
I'm saying.
Chris,
And
every time you see Chris Sims is just he gets down on his knees in front of the camera and please people believe him. I said, Chris, come on, man. Kyle. That's why Kyle doesn't talk to you. Because
right.
Kyle said it the other day in his press conference. No, I don't talk to Chris because he's going to tell everything I say, and he knows I know that. So, you know.
But yeah, any more questions, Rombo?
Tony Nagatani in fact, has a compliment. He says, I ain't debating Shea. I agree with him too much. This dude, and I guess he's
Tony, appreciate you.
brains.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Tony.
Shea, good
Appreciate that, man.
job. Shea's got to hustle out here. He's got things he's got to do. Shea, appreciate you, fam. Let's
All right,
we'll
Rombo.
talk a little later, okay?
Yes, sir. Just shout out to my TNT guys, Trey, Will, all those guys, Denise, everybody in TNT, Rome, J-Run, J10, Cali Bill, Big Heck, all the guys that just show me love. If I missed you, I'm sorry, blanking right now. But Rombo, thank you in production for the opportunity, man, to have my opinions heard. And it's always love, man. I appreciate you. Oh, and Lee, shout out to Lee, man. That's my brother right there from another Lee. Always talking draft talk, Rombo.
Hey, man, you guys do it well too. We're gonna see
Thank
you a
you.
little later, Shea. Have a great
Yes,
night. I'm getting ready to holla. 3,
Thank you,
2,
Rombo. Take
1.
it easy, brother. God bless.
Yeah, okay, fam.
Uh,
Be back. We're setting up early for today's huddle. Talk to you in just a little bit. Thanks, Shea.
all right, Rombo.